for 2 years. I was shocked because for the last 3 years we have more than enough money to fix that. The last 3 years we have not utilized all the money we have at the Ministry of Justice to deal with the courthouses.
And he also did say that the Ministry of Justice and Court Administration have an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, in terms of how they operate, but he said there are some issues there.
I recall dealing with Chief Justice Zayla McCullough and said to her, let us agree that anything under 100,000 Jamaican you will deal with. Anything that over 100,000 the Ministry of Justice will deal with. I said, this is how I think it would be arranged. And she said, no. We will just deal with maintenance because CAD, that's the Court Administration Division, will deal with maintenance and we will deal with major infrastructural repair. But the line, the MOU between Court of Administration Division and MOJ has not really been properly delineated. So you take, for instance, to put in a new air conditioning unit there at the Supreme Court, which may cost 10 million or 30 million. That should be a matter for the MOJ. But with due respect, CAD decided that they're going to deal with it. And for the last 6 months, they've been trying to work through the procurement process to get those things done. I would like to and intend to meet with the Chief Justice and the Court Administration Division. Anything that requires procurement, it should come to the Ministry of Justice. In other words, once it is over 5 million or $1 million, the Ministry of Justice will deal with it.
Listening there to Delroy Chuck, Minister of Justice. He was speaking to me on October 4, and we know.
I hope you find some more answers. Give us Barabbas.
What an excellent question. Give us Barabbas. And what a moment. The announcement by the Prime Minister of Marissa Dalrymple Philibert to be the candidate for the GLP, she having resigned as MP in the aftermath of the Integrity Commission report. I mean, a number of people were shocked about her resignation as MP. She resigned as Speaker, but went further, as I said, with the resignation as MP. In retrospect, even though there was nothing that compelled her to resign that position.
Morning. Good morning. Morning, world. Morning and welcome. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the ways of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law do we meditate day and night. For we shall be like trees planted by the rivers of water, which bringeth forth its fruit in its season. Our leaves shall not wither, and whatsoever we do will prosper. Welcome to Portland Spice TV for yet another Saturday morning. Make this one the 9th day of November. Yes, welcome to Portland Spice TV. Welcome to Portland, because Portland Spice TV is actually Portland, you know. Yeah, it is the platform that we use to promote Portland, advocate for Portland, and even bring suggestions together for this beautiful parish of Jamaica. But of course, the bigger picture is the island of Jamaica, where we love and cherish and do all that we can for the betterment of this nation. The pledge for this island is of utmost importance and says a lot of what we want to say or what we believe that we should be doing as human beings for each other. The service of my fellow citizens. I promise to stand up for peace, brotherhood, and justice, to work diligently and creatively, to think generously and honestly, so that Jamaica may, under God, increase in beauty, fellowship, and prosperity, and to play our part in advancing the welfare of the whole human race. It's vital. It is vital. I am telling you. So, when we come in at a space, we don't come to tear down nobody. We come to uplift Jamaica. But if the criticism are to be made because of your action, then what you expect of me? I don't criticize you on a lie. The criticism and the critique that we do on a Saturday morning, it is based on the action of a government. And the action of a government is vital to the well-being of the people that he leads or that government manages on behalf of. So hear me now, Jamaicans. Fear not. Fear not. You have to speak out for what is right. And that's why our mantra here on a Saturday morning is truth. Truth. This morning we're focusing on a conversation that we are going to be having this morning. We're going to be having a conversation with a Jamaican, a born Jamaican, a son of the soil. A father, a husband, family man, a businessman, entering into politics so as to serve his country. We're going to be talking to the leader of opposition, Jamaica's leader of opposition, president of the People's National Party. We're going to be talking to Mark Jefferson Golden at 9:30. Share the channel, blast it all over. Invite the world to come into our space this morning and listen to an exclusive right here on Portland Spice TV. So me I give you some time to share up the channel, touch base with the people, let them know that Mark Golden is going to be on this platform in another 20 minutes. We're going to be on the leader of opposition and we're going to talk with him. There's a conversation that we are going to have with the party leader. My party leader. Can remember now, me is a PNP. So, I believe in transparency and declaring your position. So, me now come here this morning, come go on like say, me neutral. Me no neutral. Right now, me fully in gear. Driving one side of the road. So, stay tuned. Link up some people. Make we listen to Emily Shields talk about Marissa Dalrymple, who was nominated on Wednesday.
For to resign that position, I think it was the right move under all of the circumstances. Now, the court case that caused her to resign, the report that caused her to resign, the matters related to that report, they remain unresolved. I believe it is the 6th of December that the parish court is to make a decision as to whether the matter should proceed to trial or whether it should be thrown out based on a preliminary point taken by her counsel. So I find it not only very strange at the lowest level, if one were to consider what is the lowest, perhaps bar to this announcement, but at the highest, I think the decision of the Prime Minister is contemptuous and perhaps extremely contemptuous because the matter, as I say, is unresolved in the court. It is true that the people have been calling for her to be renamed as the candidate in South Trelawney. And one can understand the need to fulfill the will of the people. But fulfilling the will of the people, there should be a condition precedent. And the condition precedent is what is the principle upon which the Prime Minister believes the country is to be governed. What is the basis on which he forced the resignation of Royal Reed? And if he can, in the face of Royal Reed, in the face of Marissa Dalrymple Philibert, still having a matter before the court, if he can take her back, why not take back Royal Reed? If this is the country, if this is the basis on which he wants to run the country, there's hardly anything to distinguish those situations. It may very well be that he feels himself somehow compromised by the position in which he now sits, with an Integrity Commission report that has made some unsavory conclusions against him. But even his own situation, in my mind, is easily distinguishable. Distinguishable because the Integrity Commission, having combed all of his records for over 18 months, couldn't find a crime with which to charge him. And even in how they've laid out their report, I have, like others, found serious procedural and rule of law issues with how Integrity Commission has gone about it. So he's not quite in the same position as Marissa Dalrymple Philibert, so that he needs to feel to justify his own remaining where he is in putting her back. So it is highly contemptuous, and it may very well work out to be Pyrrhic victory, where he wins the by-election, win he must because he's running against himself. But the bigger election is one that is due later down. And the political campaigning is going to be such that he's given a lot of food to the opposition PNP on which to campaign.
Mm-hmm.
It's extremely short-sighted, completely unprincipled, and highly contemptuous. Inexplicable, really. I don't understand it, and I never will understand it. I have to wonder, why did Bruce Golding resign in 2010? Bruce Golding made himself resign. He came up on a conscience moment, and he decided in the whole fallout of the Dudu saga, even when the voices for resignation quieted, Bruce Golding had his own road to Damascus moment, and he said he had to go. And I thought when Mr. Golding left, we'd have such levels of integrity in public life that one would not need to call for something to happen. It would happen automatically if a prime minister could resign in the way Mr. Golding did.
Yeah.
And to see that Mr. Golding's party has come to the point where you're reinstalling somebody in the face of an unresolved court matter, it's inexplicable.
Emily Shields, there are more questions than answers. I hope you find some more answers a little later on. This is a matter, I'm sure, which will...
Let me thank the RJR Communication Group. That's where we took that clip from, Radio Jamaica. And Derek Wilkes and Emily Shields having the discussion there. And I play that because really and truly, that is a serious moment in Jamaica's history, where a minister, well, not a minister, the Speaker of the House and a member of Parliament found herself in trouble with the Integrity Commission decide to resign, not just as Speaker of the House, but also as Member of Parliament. Because truly, truly, there's a thing in law that says ignorance of the law can't make you innocent. It is stated that you don't get off because you say you never know or you never remember. And I want to welcome some people on TikTok that's calling SHACKA fame Bell on TikTok. First time now we are really serious and say we are going live on TikTok as well. So we are live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook. And we are on a number of Facebook pages. We are on Grande Nanny Division 5 Facebook page. We changed the name, that East Portland page that we had. So the name has been changed. You'll see it come up. Grande Nanny Division 5. It's the PNP Grande Nanny Division 5. Because personally, I don't want to call Division 5 no more. Fellowship Division. You understand? Fellowship is one community in the Rio Grande Valley. So the Rio Grande runs through the Rio Grande Valley. So Grande River and Jamaica's only national heroine, Nanny of the Maroons, Moortown Maroons, Maroon Town, in the Rio Grande Valley same way. So two things that are significant to the history of the Rio Grande Valley. Fellowship itself not really have that kind of history. And the history that covers the valley. And that's why we say a statue of Nanny must be placed in the town square of Port Antonio. And as we talk about the town square of Port Antonio, want to remind all my listeners that you're all invited at the town square tomorrow evening for the candidate presentation. Comrade Isaac Buchanan will be presented by the party leader officially as the candidate for Eastern Portland, replacing yours truly. So, and we'll be there, yeah man, to endorse the whole thing. So, Wednesday of this week, we saw nomination day in two parochial divisions, the Morant Bay division and the Aining division. Touch up the screen, I could see it red, man. I like to see red them. And of course, Aining in Clarendon, we saw two parliamentary nominations in St. Andrew and in Trelawney. But I visited the Morant Bay nomination. That's a part of the region. Region 2 is comprised of St. Thomas, Portland, and St. Mary. And I am also proud to say that I am one of the vice chairman in charge of Region 2. Yeah, man. Welcome everybody on the space this morning. Elaine, Beat and Teach, Outer Mini, Gilly, Mr. President earlier, George, everybody, share up the channel. Like up the video for me now, please. And like up the video on the YouTube, and thanks. Like up the video on the YouTube, and thank you very much. Yeah, man. So, it was a good look. But we saw a video trending. With the Member of Parliament from East Portland in an altercation, a verbal altercation, I must say, with the councillor candidate from the PNP side. What was that about? I don't like that. I don't like that at all. That's unacceptable. So we call upon the ladies them to behave themselves. Tuesday night we had Wilfred Rattigan on Styles FM. You know, we are also on radio. Styles FM 96.1, 96.5, 96.7, covering St. Thomas, Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne, Kingston, parts of St. Andrew, parts of St. Catherine. Yeah, man, that's on the World Wide Web. And we are also on Caribbean Radio HD in the Tri-State, New York, internet radio in Florida, all about with the same way. So we are connected. This is Portland Spice TV. My name is Colin Bell, SHACKA fame. Yeah, man. Born, bred Portlander and live in Portland by choice. So, tomorrow night in the town square, Damian Crawford will be there, from my information. Dr. Andre Orton, Dr. Dayton Campbell, and as I said earlier, the presentation of the candidate to the people of East Portland will be done by the president of the People's National Party, Honorable Mark Golden, MP. Yeah, man. So we're inviting everyone to forward in the town square tomorrow night. Forward in the town square. And those people living on the route between Port Antonio and the Hector's River, at about, the party leader will be coming through Hector's River, Mansion Hill, Fair Hill. Yeah, man. So, you can look out, come out, meet and greet the next Prime Minister of Jamaica. I'm telling you. Because what is happening in Jamaica now can't continue. You know? And before I get to the party leader, I want to talk a little economic. I want to talk about the economy a little bit. Because Jamaica is in a serious dilemma. Serious dilemma, and some people don't know and don't understand. And then there's a brainwashing campaign going on where people are trying to brainwash the item and are telling us that the economy are the well when the economy is in tatters. I'm telling you something. When the GLP won back in 2007, they took 4 years and destroyed the Jamaican economy. 4 years. This time, it look like they might take about 8 years for destroy it. Because, make no bones about it, the government now have no money. You hear me? I'm telling you that straight. Simple. Government now have no money. So, on one stage, you're the Prime Minister cussing people for investing in government paper. What is government paper? It's basically the same stocks and bonds, you know. Government float a bond if you borrow some money from me and you. Yeah. So if you buy that government paper there, which you have even 100,000, you can buy government paper. And not like you need 100 million. You understand? So when you buy government paper, then you lend the government your money and they must say, give you a 7% or a 8% interest return on your money at this time, at a certain time. But the Prime Minister costs people who are investing in it, but at the same time, the government afloat it. Why is that happening? What kind of disconnect is that? So, I want people understand, you know, the IMF and the World Bank, them said Jamaica growth at good on. Ralston Iman told us that we have had 10 quarters of consecutive deceleration of the Jamaican economy. The economy is slowing right down. And growth of 0.2% is predicted. That's no growth. 1% is very low growth, you know. I'm going to say 1%. I say 0. So a 0, there which part of 1 they should have there. 0.1 or 0.2. So you have to go to 10 to make 1 over upon the right side of the decimal point. So it's no growth. And here's my concern. There have been no production plan put forward to the country. Nothing has been placed on the table to say to us, this is how we're going to come out of this dilemma. I've been preaching it, that you can't continue to borrow from Peter to pay Paul and get better. So when you got 10, you don't really have the 10 over there, so it's 1. 10 is 1. Yeah. So, show the clip. Beat and teach is a certain derogatory thing. this is really social media, but we don't run it like that's something I show us on something, you know. We keep a level of decency, media decency around here. But because me think me hear bad word that cussing it and all of them something. But we could, boy, I tell you. But we see, because we could have doctor it, we could have basically kill the audio and show it. So, my people, the economy is in trouble. And if we don't start to produce, we're going to crash. My party is ready to win the election. My party want to win. My party is preparing for government. But I want to warn my party that we're going in a tough condition because every time GLP run this country, them crash the economy and PNP have to fix it back. And yes, tell them say me say that and I'm ready for a debate to prove that. Every time the GLP come in office, they crash the economy. When they came in office in 2007, the debt to GDP was at 113.8%. Incompetence crashed the economy. When we had a global meltdown, a big recession, when Ardley Shaw told this country that the recession would benefit Jamaica and we never need to go to the IMF. The economy crashed. They went to the IMF, took the wrong borrowing arrangement, couldn't keep up, took one test. One test. You know, the IMF normally have a man in the country where I monitor the thing. Him say him couldn't recommend Jamaica to take no more tests because the thing them never line up. So here what? Here what now? Because the thing them never line up. The IMF, you know, when somebody ban you, I say, brother, you can't come here for nothing more. We don't have nothing more for you. The IMF ban Jamaica. Kick we out of the market. World Bank, nobody not talk to we. PNP win the election. And we come down pan. Peter Phillips and Portia Simpson. So, we could barely govern because of what the GLP do to the economy. And they don't talk about it. And I'm suggesting to Jamaica that when you are matching the two administrations, look back at the last 18 years. It's not even 18, you know. A 17 years. Look back. The GLP has been in power for 13 of it. 13. If not 14. They were in power for 4 years. Well, give them 13, yeah. Some people, when we look at this present state that the economy is in, we know we are in serious trouble. So anytime the PNP take over this country after the next general election, it's fixing again. Fixing because the economy mash up. The economy is not in a good place. Not in a good place at all. So, where we are in this country, where we are. We are at a place where production is not happening. Our importation bill is spiraling out of control. Our food bill for the first 6 months of this month is almost $1 billion US. Importation of food. So, why is it that we're not farming more? I tell people, it's 2 ways to come out of this dilemma, 2 ways Jamaica have right now. We have to start feed ourselves, so agriculture. We have to start produce more in that sector. And we have to get into the culture and the creative industry, the orange economy, and start earn with fair share out of that industry. Because we can't farm enough to get ourselves out of the economic slum we're in. Farming is going to cut the food importation bill, and hopefully we start export some more produce, some more of what we produce. So if we don't get there so fast, we have problem. So I say agriculture. I believe that the government, this present government, squandered a wonderful opportunity. They came up with a way to find $11 billion. And instead I use the $11 billion to produce more food, we give the $11 billion to buy more foreign food. Crazy. The government should have made that $11 billion available to farmers as a loan, 2%. 2%. Give it, make farmers get it. Some man get some 150 million and some 500 million and help to build some large farmers. But the government squander the opportunity. Squander it. Just give it away. Just give it away, so. Me no understand how leaders can leaders, you must think. You can't just be average. You can't think as the average man. You're the leader, Yeah. Just touching base with the leader of opposition. I don't see him coming at the chat room yet. So just finding out what is happening, where we're at. So, my people, if we have leaders that lacks vision, remember the Bible tell you about that something there, If your leaders lack vision, the people will perish. Yesterday, in the news, they are saying that remittance to Jamaica is expected to fall. Remittance to Jamaica is expected to fall. There's a new president in the White House in January. A president that have some ideas that don't agree with illegal immigrants, and the man is saying that he's going to make some moves. So right away, Jamaica start worry again. Because if the remittance cut down, which is our biggest source of foreign exchange, remittance, tourism out of many. We're earning from tourism. But can I tell you something out of many? If you check the value of the tourism market on the global stage, Jamaica is earning less than 1% of that. We are earning little bit. So we have not been maximizing anything. We're not maximizing tourism. We're not maximizing agriculture. We're not maximizing the culture and the creative industry. We're not maximizing on our manufacturing. We don't max. We just do a little of this and little of that. Well, I say, my leader in the studio now. So we are going to invite. We now hold it up. We are going to invite. Let me invite to the studios of Portland Spice TV. My leader. Because we talk the truth, you know. I'm not telling nobody about my balance. This is my leader and the opposition leader of Jamaica, President of the People's National Party. Good morning and welcome, Honorable Mark Jefferson Golden.
Morning, Sir Colin, comrade. And, you know, I appreciate your openness and transparency on that issue. So people know where you stand. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as people know.
But that's the ethics of journalism, comrade leader.
Indeed. And unfortunately, it is not always practiced as it should.
Can I tell you? So much of them come and say them neutral, them balance. I don't believe that we have no balanced Jamaican. Everybody have a side. PNP or GLP.
Well, I just want to say greetings to the Portland Spice Massive on this live. And, you know, I'm sure we have people from both P and no P on, so enough respect to each and every one. And it's a pleasure to be here, Colin.
Welcome, comrade leader. A number of things I've always wanted to talk to you about. You came into the political scene, thrust into politics as a businessman. And when you became leader of the party, you were trailing miserably behind the bro god, the Honorable Prime Minister. And it was a case of an unknown in politics. Normally, our leaders come out of people who in the party long time, come up through the ranks. People don't know you, never knew of you.
True.
You are now leading in the polls, so a little more people know a little more about you. What it is that you'd want the people of Jamaica to know about Mark Golden enter into politics to serve this country?
Yeah, I think your analysis is accurate. You know, I became leader in November 2020. And although I'd been in public life from 2007 when I was became an opposition senator, Portia Simpson Miller, Sister P, invited me to be one of the 8 opposition senators in 2007. The Senate is a relatively, low profile political organ in the sense that it's more technocratic, it's more focused on the details of legislation and that kind of thing, which actually suited me well at the time because I am a lawyer by profession, and I've always been interested in drafting and more on commercial transactions, but it was easy to shift my orientation to the kind of material that comes to Parliament. So I wasn't well known. I was treasurer of the party at one point. I was a spokesperson at one point. And then when we won the elections in 2011, December, I became Minister of Justice. And again, people who follow the politics would know who I was. But the average person out there who's just struggling to survive and doesn't think politics 24/7 probably didn't know, they may have heard the name, but wouldn't really know who I am. So I entered the House of Representatives in 2017 as the MP for South St. Andrew when Omar Davis retired. And I was persuaded really to put myself forward, which was a big move for me because, to be very honest, Colin, I had never seen myself as going the route of becoming a full-fledged politician, I came into this thing relatively late because in 2007, 2007 when I became a senator, as I said. You know, I was in my 40s, you know, and before that, my own involvement in politics was really as a supporter, you know, of people who I knew well and who were in the politics. I would lend a hand. I was very interested in it, but I was not active. So when I took that step in 2017, it was a big move for me. And, you know, I'm big up the people of South St. Andrew because they have blessed me with their support and you know, love. And, you know, I respect them to the max. It is the cradle of Jamaican popular music, coming out of Trenchtown and its environs. And, you know, I regard that foundation of my political movement then as a very important thing. So 2017, I became an MP again, you know, just one of 63 in opposition, not in government at that time. So again, the political class would know, you know, who I was, but the average person didn't. Mm-hmm.
You mean 2007?
2017 is when I became an MP, you know.
2007.
I became a senator.
Oh, yeah. You were a senator before, right?
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
Right.
But
yes,
Senator, the Senate thing is a Friday morning, you know, a Friday meeting. It's just 21 people
right.
there. You know, it is not it's not the cut and thrust in the same way as representational politics is.
Right.
So 2017 was a big step for me. And then after we contested the 2020 elections and we were badly beaten.
Yes.
You know, Dr. Phillips said, well, he was stepping back. And so there was a vacancy. And my colleagues prevailed on me to put myself forward. So at that point, when I became leader of the party, you know, and it was a contested internal election, which I was the person who was chosen. I came in as a relative unknown in terms of the national profile. That's what I would say. Yeah. So when I walk on the road, and everybody would know who I was. You understand me? So I was aware of that. But who I am just a regular person, you know, born and grew in Jamaica. I grew up
Ever dreamed of becoming the Prime Minister of Jamaica before you enter the politics?
Maybe as a teenager, you know, I was interested in politics, and maybe, you know, in the same way that I probably dream of playing cricket for the West Indies or playing football for Jamaica. Maybe I would have, in the political realm, that would have been a fantasy at times, but it was never a burning ambition, you know. But it was something I probably had thought about, you know, in one's wildest dreams, so to speak, you know.
And then becoming member of parliament of your constituency, which is a PNP bastion, was pretty easy. Becoming the opposition leader now and challenging for government. Was that a rude awakening of the crassness of the politics at this stage now?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it is a totally different thing. Being the opposition leader, or a party leader, relative to being a member of parliament, it is a step. It's a large step up from where I was before, because you become the focus of attention, you become the focus of people's expectations and hopes, and you also become the focus of attack from your opponents. And in the era that we are in now, of pervasive social media and other communication channels, which are really unregulated and where people can say anything they like, informed or uninformed, malignant or honest, you know, it lends itself to a kind of chaotic kind of discourse. So I have felt, I think, the brunt of that, you know, and so I had to stand up, you know, and I had to kind of firm up myself and go through. And part of what I've done in doing that is to go on the ground, you know, travel the country, meet people, and just touch flesh, as it were, shake hand, hug up the ladies them, and make people kind of feel my vibes. And you know, it has been a good experience. And as you can see from the polls that you referred to, it is bearing fruit, you know. But your original question was, you know, I think it was like, who am I, you know? Yes. So I was just saying, I'm just a regular Jamaican person, born here, grew here.
Oh, you have to be regular. People say you're rich. People say the Prime Minister was making some statements after people getting wealthy. And there are views out there that he's talking about you getting wealthy.
Okay, so I'm not going to say I haven't been successful in my endeavors when I was in private life. You know, I have been successful. I wasn't born rich. My father was a university professor. And at a time when academics at the University of the West Indies weren't particularly well paid, you know. So although he himself had some resources, he didn't live that life. You know, he lived the life of a regular university professor type person. I grew up on the campus, you know, with the children of other academics, and then next door was Hermitage, which is a low-income community. Augustown below that, youth them from around those communities and us used to role play football and ride bicycle and, you know, climb tree and all of the things that children do. And then as a teenager now, kind of broke out little, start got dance and got it. I love music. I'm quite a musical
I hear that
person.
they used to call you Radigan.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That was really my brethren at UWI campus now, because I used to flex on campus, even though I was not attending UWI at the time. But them you giving me that name, you know. So for a good while, that was what I was known as, you know, amongst those friends, you know. So yeah, I mean, so that is why I said I'm a regular person in the sense that how I live my life as a youngster coming up was, you know, I'm not saying I was in any way suffering, no. You know, I was privileged, yes, but I didn't really move with the privileged class of people. I've never moved with the privileged class of people. I've always moved with my peers on campus and youths from, I would say, from the ghetto, you know, who have, you know, that is how I've always lived my life. But then when I finished university now and started to work, because I was interested in finance and economics, although I was a lawyer, I found myself doing the type of work that generated, you know, a good amount of income for myself and my family at the time. And then, of course, we started DB&G, myself and two other friends, Peter Bunting and Chris Daring. And that was a successful business. It was an investment business, a finance services company. And, you know, it did very well. And eventually we sold it to Scotiabank in 2006. And that gave me some financial security at the time. All of that you mentioned, opposition leader, was in the public. Yeah. Yes.
So the people of Jamaica know clearly how you make your money.
Yeah, man. My DB&G was a publicly listed company.
Yeah.
So all of its audited financials were published every year. You know, and it has the annual report. It had to file an annual report every year. Mm-hmm.
You and your brethren them set up a company.
Yes.
And it work.
Yes.
And it make money.
Yes.
And Scotiabank see it and like it.
Yes.
And buy it.
Yes.
And make a money.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in every newspaper. And every news. So
yeah. If you go on the internet
like
now.
you see in Bolt.
Yeah.
We know how you make your money.
Yeah, man. That is exactly right. You know, and even if you go on the internet now and search that transaction, when it's still there, the material is still there, the offering document, the pricing of everything, how much everybody got is all there. So yeah, I mean, it's quite transparent and so on. So, you know, but what that sale and the financial security enabled me to do was to say, yo, all right, so I've had my working career now in the private sector, doing, you know, financial transactions as a lawyer for clients and also as a businessman in DB&G. And we had started Proven in 2010, which is still going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because we had the expertise and we had built a reputation of excellence in the field, we saw an opportunity to establish another one. And 3 years after we sold DB&G to Scotia, we started Proven, which is really a regional company now. It invests across the region. It is in a number of territories in the Caribbean and even beyond. And, you know, although I'm not as involved in it as I was in DB&G, I am still, you know, part of the team that guides it along. So, and that has been a very successful business as well.
But that leads me right into this question, Comrade, and I still want to go back to where you were, but I have to ask you that question.
Sure.
When you become Prime Minister, how you going to deal with those issues?
Right. Well, when I became Minister of Justice, how I dealt with it at that time was I came off of the the board that I was on and the committee that I served on. I just recused myself. I went on a leave of absence for the period of my engagement, you know. So I would
you weren't
have
actively running that.
No, I
Right.
wasn't involved at all at that stage. For those
Right.
4 years, I just take with myself, so to speak.
Mhm.
You know, because there are others there who are, you know, who
And
can
when you
manage the
become
work.
prime minister, you have to
Mhm.
take with yourself from proven.
Yes, I will have to. And I've done it before and I will do it again. Whatever is required in order to satisfy the public that there is no reason why, you know, of concern in that area, I will do. You know, that is a gift.
Like how you and your brethren them would set up DB&G and juggle and tree you to deal with them thing and make some money. You think a prime minister should be juggling like that while being prime minister?
No, I don't think so. Being prime minister is a full-time job, and you must be focused on that. The only other issues you might have are family-related issues, which you can never get away from. You know,
Because as a family man,
as a family man,
right?
Yeah, family is family. But when it comes to work as a prime minister, that must be your focus. That's not to say you can't have what I'd call passive investments. If you have saved money over time and you own some stocks or you own some whatever, you know, that's fine. But to be actively involved in building a business and doing multiple transactions and running 28 bank accounts, something not right, something wrong.
And actively involved in buying stocks while being prime minister? You
That's
think a
how
prime
I
minister should have buy stocks at that time?
No, I don't. I don't think the prime minister should be active in the markets trading. No. You know, if you have a portfolio, you either just leave it as it is, or if it's a personal portfolio, or you can put it into some kind of blind trust where it's managed by other people and they have full discretion over it and you have no say for the period of that while you're in public life. You can't be because every time you step into the marketplace as prime minister, there's a potential conflict of interest because you have agencies that ultimately report to you that will have an impact on the businesses that you're investing in or selling. So it is, and that's why this whole way in which this government operates is problematic, because they engage in as if they're private citizens while they're running the country. And when I say private citizens, doing the things that people have no responsibility to the public are doing. And that is a problem.
All right, so let's go back to proven. I don't want to be all over the place, but
Yes.
I want to hear about you before I go into the politics, because we have to talk a little about the politics. But the things that people don't know about you, people are speculating, and they are saying that Proven is not a Jamaican company. Talk to us about that.
As I said, Proven is a regional business. So it has some business in Jamaica that it does. It has a securities dealer, wealth management company here. It also has done some real estate development here. But it does it owns a manufacturing business in Barbados. It has a banking interest in Cayman and St. Lucia. It is a business that's both in the financial and real sectors. The main real sector activity that it does is, as I said, manufacturing. And it manufactures animal feed and cooking oil and those things in Barbados. It also does real estate development, not just in Jamaica, elsewhere. And it does financial services. That's what it does.
Where's your head office?
The head office is in St. Lucia. It was established from day one as a St. Lucia-based operation.
And you do other business in St. Lucia?
Yeah, we have a bank in St. Lucia as well. Yeah.
And listeners and viewers, remember, Mark Jefferson Golden is coming into politics as a businessman. The fact that you're not a career politician, does that affect your ability to lead the People's National Party?
I think it gives me a perspective which is valuable. You know, I'm somebody who knows what it takes to be successful in business and how to run a successful business. And I've had a lot of experience in managing businesses through all type of crises, from the 90s when there was a financial sector meltdown through the 2008 global financial crisis and many things in between. So I'm not a career politician. I'm primarily a lawyer. That is my core competence. I'm a commercial and corporate lawyer, but I have a long standing exposure and understanding of finance because of the type of work I've done. And I think that's an asset. That will be an asset to Jamaica. I think it's an asset to the PNP, because it's part of what I have brought to the table is, you know, managing the party in the way we manage it now, which is, as you've seen, bearing fruit. So, it is, to my mind, the country needs people who have experience and expertise to run it. Why do you think Mr. Holness draw for Nigel Clark? Because he knew that, that was a big gap in his team that he needed to try and fill. And of course, that gap was opened again when Nigel decided to cut. But
so you're saying it has not been filled now?
Well, no, they've attempted to fill it now, and the person who's filled it, Favor, is competent in the field of finance. She's a very well qualified person in that era. But of course, as a politician and as Minister of Finance, it's less about technical skill, and more about communications and interpersonal skills. Now, the jury is out on whether she has that. I don't think she has that personally, having seen how she operates. Whereas I think Dr. Clark, was a skilled propagandist in his own right, and brought that to the table in carrying the message for his party quite effectively.
Let's talk a little bit about finance, comrade leader, and where Jamaica is right now in managing the finances of this country. I want to start at 2011, where the PNP came back in office after the GLP had crashed the economy. This is a area, this is a period of time that has not been discussed. And some of us in the media are also saying that the PNP may be at fault by not bringing forward that period of time when the government speaks of what they have done with the economy. Because coming out of 2007 to 2011, we saw where the multilaterals had kicked us out of the market. The IMF would not talk to Jamaica. We couldn't get a loan. We are aware of the struggles that Dr. Peter Phillips and the Most Honorable Portia Simpson Miller went through. But a lot of people keep forgetting that you were an integral part of the team. Tell us about what happened and how we brought back the Jamaican economy.
Thank you for that. All right. So I think the context is very important. Bear in mind that during the period from 1989 to 2007, when the People's National Party was in government, first with Michael Manley for his second stint as Prime Minister, not his second term, because he had 2 terms in the 70s, but the second era as Prime Minister, and then PJ Patterson after that, and then briefly Portia Simpson Miller at the end. During that period, which the JLP have done their best to style in a particular way, the country really changed significantly. So the economy that we have now, which is what we call an open economy, where we don't have foreign exchange controls. Anybody can save in US, keep them US. If they want to travel, them can go out, send money, go abroad, or receive it. Is the PNP do that? We used to have licensing for everything in this country. If you want to import anything, you have to go to the trade board and apply for a license. Exporting, you need an export license. We deregulated much of that. So we created an environment where business could flourish, because it was at that time understood that the private sector and private initiative has to be the engine of growth. But there's a role for government, both as a regulator to make sure that the bad business practices are dealt with by the state, and also what I call a catalytic role. In other words, stepping in where opportunities exist, but the private sector will not go there because it's too challenging for them to sort of create an environment, put in the necessary investment, maybe in infrastructure, for example, that will enable private capital to come in and build on that. So that 18 years was really created the type of economy that Jamaica has. And it was successful. If you check it out, by 2007, poverty was single digit in Jamaica. When Michael Manley took office in 1989, poverty was high. I don't remember the specific number, but it was over 20%. By the end of the 18 years, it was, I think, 9% and heading down.
2007,
Unemployment was single digit as well.
Yes.
The country had built up some decent reserves, etc. But it was 18 years, and 18 years is a long time for one party to rule. And the country said, look, try the JLP now.
GDP was 113.8%.
Yeah, well, the debt to GDP ratio was in that region, correct. Now, JLP came in, there was a global financial crisis. Them couldn't manage that. They ran to the IMF. They signed an agreement with the IMF. The IMF was very generous with them and front-loading, in other words, put a lot of resources in place up front, but on the basis of certain commitments that the government made to restructure certain things so that, that the economy wouldn't get itself into this problem again that they found themselves in.
Right.
Them couldn't cross it. They abandoned the program. They didn't pass any tests. Jamaica was in the mud in terms of in the international financial community. The Bank of Jamaica had to be advancing money to the government, which it's not supposed to do, to pay bills. And they lost the election in 2011. And there was a whole Dudus business as well and all of that. So we inherited a situation where the debt of the country had gone up to 147% of GDP, where the IMF program had collapsed. Jamaica had no access to international credit. It was a crisis. We were on the precipice of going over into a very difficult time where, God knows what would have happened if we hadn't pulled it together. And the beauty of it was Portia Simpson-Miller, as Prime Minister, was somebody who the people of Jamaica felt had their best interests at heart. Yes. And they were prepared to undergo a difficult period of rectification of those problems, fixing those problems with her leadership. Because them say, well, since Andrew Holness did say in 2011 election that it was bitter medicine was coming, I better them get it from Mama than from him. Right? Yeah,
because Mama give medicine easier than Papa.
You don't know. So Peter Phillips, who was a skillful finance minister, managed the situation well, and we were able to pass every test. My role at that time as Minister of Justice was I was in charge of the legislation of the government. I chaired the legislation committee of cabinet.
To restructure all these things that you just spoke to us about, moving out, getting the thing business friendly.
Exactly, and getting the tax system functioning right, so you had revenues to manage the debt problem.
So hold on, opposition leader.
Yeah.
This the old tax system was fixed then.
Yeah.
And you was in charge of that.
Absolutely.
That's why the government now can collect so much revenue.
It has been a tremendous success. What happened? We restructured the tax system. We eliminated all the million of different types of incentives, created one, what we call omnibus tax incentive that any business can get. The employer tax credit, which means if you employ people and you pay your statutories, you get that as a credit against your income tax within certain limits. We also incentivized, we gave the tax deductions for investment in research and development, which hadn't been possible before. We introduced the production incentive where people can import production inputs that you can't buy here and you need to import without paying duty. So we created the tax environment that now exists. And we also dealt with the whole revenue collection side of things to streamline that. We introduced a new tax software in the tax system to make that more efficient. And let me tell you, the thing has worked tremendously well. Because if you look at it, without imposing any new tax types, the revenue of the country has grown way ahead of inflation over the period since then. In other words, if you look, and way ahead of economic growth as well.
But why you don't tell people that you do these things? And allow Nigel Clark to be claiming glory. You should be getting royalties. Look like we have an internet freeze. We're having a conversation with the leader of opposition and the president of the People's National Party, Mark Jefferson Golden. Obviously, we internet freeze up, are we? Because I don't know. We never see that kind of load there, but let's hope that we can get back the comrade leader, because wonderful discussion we are having. And you're hearing it because, you see, we always say it, the GLP don't talk about this period
are you
of
there?
Times. Yes, we lost you when you were telling us about, when I was saying to you why you
don't man, I don't know, everything was suddenly cut. All right, so I'm back.
Why you don't tell people, say you do these things and allow people to take the credit like them do it?
Well, first of all, I don't really like big up myself them way there. You know, that's not me. But
this is
I
politics.
figure that we have journalists and others who, you know, can speak the truth and tell the story as it should be told. These are not matters that are not known. These are all in the public domain. But
yes,
I guess, you know, you are right that it's something that it's a story that we should tell more.
Of course.
And you know, yeah. So by the end of the 4 years that we were in government under Portia Simpson Miller, you know, we had to bear band with belly, so to speak, you know, by running what they call high primary surplus. In other words, we had to save money out of the budget a lot to pay down the debt and get the thing under control because the thing was unsustainable and we were not credit worthy as a country. Right. So we had to build that back. And by the time we left office, it had gone from the 147 to 115% of GDP in 4 years.
Right.
Which was a remarkable thing.
Yeah.
And we put it in the law. So there are things called fiscal rules which I was responsible for developing that legislation along with the technocrats in the Ministry of Finance.
What about EPOC?
EPOC was another construct. That was another thing that was developed at that time by Peter Phillips and others, you know, which was essentially saying, look, the society has to make sacrifice to make this thing work. We have to get ourselves out of the hole. So we have an agency, establish an agency or entity which will monitor how the government is doing in meeting the commitments, because you have agreed to make sacrifices, unions, banking sector, everybody.
Public sector workers.
So the government has to play its part. And its part was delivering all of the things that we had committed to do, much of which was legislation. So that was my role. My role was making sure every deadline for every piece of legislation that we'd agreed to do was met on time. And I had to work hard.
And that's what we call efficiency, because they went through.
Yeah, man, they went through. And we did some other things as well, like the super farm to make. So before then, if you're farming a business or a company, you form the company, you register the business, then you have to go to GCT, go register. You have to go to NIS, go get a number. You have to go to NHT to get a number. You have to go all over the place. It was very inefficient. We created a super farm where you apply, and when you get registered, or you get your certificate of incorporation on the back, you get all those numbers. So you don't have no run around thing. And a TCC for the first 6 months. So, you know, that Jamaica's ranking for ease of doing business and for competitiveness improved significantly in those 4 years. So we set the thing, but it was a hard time still because we couldn't spend the money that we would have loved to spend on social investments because the situation was so dire. The country was in such a bad position. That's how we inherited it in 2011. So when the 2016 election happened and then promised the 1.5 thing, which they said they could fund without new taxes, which was a lie, because they had to impose over 30 billion of new taxes on the other shot to pay for the 1.5. So that was a lie, but they won the election with a lie. You know?
But they still keep saying, opposition leader, that it happened. They keep saying that they delivered on the 1.5.
They delivered on the 1.5 by making the taxpayer pay for it.
But because I keep saying to people, what they are not telling you is that the 1.5 was promised revenue neutral.
Correct.
And they did not deliver on that part of it. So they only said them deliver the 1.5. But it was not revenue neutral, as you said a while ago. $30 billion on the back of the Jamaican people.
Yeah, a whole raft of taxes were put in place over the first 2 years of their government. Indirect taxes mainly. So it's not in your pay slip if you're an employee, but you're paying it every time you buy anything in a supermarket or any other shop. So it had to be funded. The lie was they said it was already funded. They were going to, through elimination of waste and all kind of foolishness, which they had to fund it by putting taxes on other things to take away the taxes for the 1.5. That's what they did. That's water under the bridge. It was good politics for them.
For winning the election.
Yeah. And, so be it. So they have been able to build on a platform that they didn't construct. We construct the building. They occupy the building. And them going like it's them build it, but it's not them build it. And the truth.
What are they doing now to those gains? Because when they came in power, things looked so good that they said that they were going to grow the economy 5% in 4 years.
Yeah.
I remember, I think, a debate in 2020 with yourself and Nigel Clark. It was 2020 when he was asked what happened to 5 in 4 and him give no, it wasn't 2020. That was 2016.
Man. No, man, 2020.
2020 you debate with him.
Yes.
Right.
And
him give some pretty argument that never really mean nothing. We are at a stage now, opposition leader, where they are saying that the economy will grow maybe 0.8%, going down to even 0.2%. That for me poses a serious problem to Jamaica. You are looking forward to winning the next election. I want to talk about election yet, but you're looking forward to win it. The PNP is poised. Everything is lining up that we are going to win it. We want to talk to you now how you're going to manage this problem. Low growth, low wage, low tech, low income economy, low production. The PNP going to be in trouble again like we were in 2011. Talk to us. How you're going to work that out?
So the situation is different. So where we are now is that the public finances and the debt are no longer in a position of jeopardy then. Things have been sorted out at that level through the successful policies and the pursuit of those policies over a 10-year period. So the debt of 147% of GDP is now around 70% of GDP. It's been cut in half in 10 years, which is a remarkable achievement. Internationally, people say, wow, that's quite something. And Jamaica should feel good about that because that is something that we have done. Many other countries have not been able to do it, but we did.
I don't want you to lose your thought, comrade leader, but I must say something. You have said this on a platform, and I see labor rights plastering it everywhere. And I said to myself, wonderful. My leader is honest. My leader speaks the truth. If that is happening, it is happening.
Yeah.
And I think that shows the difference between you, who are able to say this is good, and those people who can't find nothing good on the other side.
Yeah, well, I suppose that's because, as you say, I didn't come to this politics early in my career, and politics is not all I know. You know, I was part of other things before I came, and I came here to serve Jamaica. You know, and where Jamaica has achieved something good, and both sides have contributed. I'm not going to say otherwise.
I want to applaud you for doing that, comrade leader, and I want to big you up and continue to be honest, truthful, and forthright. Big you up for that.
Enough respect.
Talk to me.
Give thanks. So, where we are now is that side of things is running well and will continue, I believe, to run well because the fiscal rules are in our law, and I don't think any government is going to abandon them because the sacrifices that both sides have incurred in order to get us where we are seen as a national achievement, not just here in Jamaica, but the world sees it as an achievement for us. But it is not sufficient. It is not going to put food on people's table. It is not going to stop the brain drain. Jamaica has the second highest rate of migration of professionals in the world, of people who have skills in the world. It is not going to give the youth them on the corner who leave school with no subjects and want to be somebody. Them want girl. Them want drive something. They want ultimately own a house, etc. It's not going to stop them from looking at other things because there's nothing lawful that them can do and achieve anything. So what? Them gone down the wrong path. And that create a whole heap of other problems for the society as a whole. So this thing is not working as it should work. So I have to make it work. So how are we going to make it work? I believe, first of all, there's more fiscal space now than there was 10 years ago. Chalk to cheese. So the resources that each ministry has available to it now is significantly greater than it was 10 years ago because of the success of that debt reduction program. That is what that has done for Jamaica. So it's a question of, all right, how do you prioritize the available resources and what do you spend it on? That's one issue. Secondly, what can you do to generate greater economic activity, productive activity, creating value here that can build wealth here for our people? So my belief is that the main thing we have to solve is investing in our people's capacity to be productive. So we have a problem in the education system. We have a problem socially with weak family structures and parenting challenges as well. And communities which are not, the village that used to grow up children in a right way, that those villages have so much other kind of problems and misbehavior and so on, that the youth them not getting everything they need. So nutrition at school is an issue for many children. Transportation to school and back is an issue. And what we see, and it's well known, it's talked about a lot, is that leaving primary school, over a third of the children can't read and write.
Madness.
And can't do basic arithmetic. Now, when you have that going into secondary school, there's no remedial program in place to fix that after that, So individual schools might try a thing, but there's no national program for addressing that issue. The problems that those children have from early carry right through to the finished school. Many of them leave, they don't have no subjects.
Wow.
And so that is we need to get that whole continuum from birth to adulthood. We have to sort that out so that the youth them leaving primary school can read and write and do basic arithmetic. And so secondary school is receiving children who are ready for secondary school. Right now, over a third of them are not ready for secondary school. We have to fix that so that the youth them leaving high school now are trainable and can move forward in life in a productive way. Then we have to invest in the training side right now. We have to use heart in a much more creative and effective way. And we have to integrate it with the private sector, because a lot of training is being done in the private sector as well. And we need to synergize that now and incentivize more investment in training by the private sector so that we can have our people ready for the kind of jobs that can pay them well and that are the 21st century economy around the things like robotics and AI and coding and all other things, services that can be done in Jamaica more efficiently than, say, in the US or wherever. So the whole global services thing and BPO, which we had a plan for, we had a 5-year plan when we left office, or I think it was a 5-year plan, to grow employment from 5 to 50,000 people in that sector. And that has rolled out successfully and has been, but now it's in jeopardy because we're still operating at that low level of value added. We're doing the very basics. We need to take it up to more value added, knowledge process outsourcing, legal process outsourcing, coding and other things that require technical skills so that the people can make a good career out of those services. So what I'm really saying is people first. We have to invest in our people to have a productive economy. And if we invest in our people and our people are trainable and we provide the training opportunities and readiness for work opportunities, then it's going to have a massive and positive impact on crime and violence in the country as well. Because we're going to have yet less desperate youth who don't have any other pathway forward. And we also have to deal with other social issues around parenting and values and attitudes and bring civics back into the curriculum in a real way so people know what it is to be a citizen, know what their rights are, know what their responsibilities are, know what it means to be a father and a mother and how to grow children properly and all of those things. We need a totally new way of thinking about who we are as people and how we approach life and training our people to be productive. Because it's a global situation and it's competitive and we have the capacity to be great. We are great in certain areas, but we need to be great in more areas that will affect our income and the standard of living, quality of life in our country. There are also other opportunities, Colin.
Yes, go ahead.
So, for example, our geographical location. We are right on the exit of the Panama Canal, which is a major trade route in the maritime shipping trade route in the world. We have for a long time seen the possibility of Jamaica becoming a logistics hub, a center where ships can get serviced, can get fixed, where goods can be assembled, and higher value added done here. And we have a plan which we paid $1 million US for, where we got support for it from the IDB, and it has not been rolled out, a master plan around that. And we see tremendous potential to build on that. Logistics, warehousing, trucking, and connectivity with the world, making Jamaica integrating Jamaica into the global supply chains as much as possible. That's another area which I think can help to take Jamaica to another level. And then, of course, there's entertainment. and creative industries, which you know a lot about and you speak a lot about, and where we have a definite competitive advantage because of our brand, our vibes, our language, the music where we make, the dance where we make. You know, the rest of the world just rate all of that. So
Comrade leader, we need to get into film. That's where the money is. That's where the money is. The culture of Jamaica is so rich and is so craved around the world. Film is the packaging that we need to use to export more of that to the world, comrade leader. And it is on the PNP table.
We have a film industry, a small one, and you know we need to interact with them and understand their needs and what can be done to make them more, you know, to make them grow and expand. And we've done, I mean, Jamaica, lots of great films have been made in Jamaica, for example.
Yeah. Talk to me about what the PNP will be doing for agriculture.
That's another area. And that's a priority for us, because right now, if you check our economy, we rely on remittances, which we don't have any control over.
Which everybody says is going to fall now. Out of what happened in the US earlier this week, people are saying that remittance is going to decline to Jamaica.
It's possible. It's possible because immigration, you know, is going to be an issue for this Trump government. They want to reduce immigration. So that is going to affect the volume of Jamaicans going to the US to generate money that can be sent back here. So, yeah, I mean, that's a possibility. So, but we're very dependent on it. Then tourism, you know, is another major employer. But our business model for tourism is largely an enclave system, meaning it's around the all-inclusive product. Guests come here, they stay in the hotel, they pay for everything abroad, and they get the services rendered here. The only money that comes to Jamaica is the money to pay the workers and to buy whatever little local inputs are purchased, which is relative, because a lot of the food they consume and so on is imported. So that model is not generating for the economy what it ought to. You understand? In other words, the impact on the economy could be much greater if tourism was more integrated into the economy than it is. Our model is like a scratch the surface model. And we need to...
I told my listeners earlier this morning that Jamaica don't even make 1% of what tourism is valued on the global stage on an yearly basis.
Right. And you hear the Minister of Tourism saying, oh, well, you know, our annual earnings are now over $4 billion US and so on. But you see, it's misleading because he's talking about gross earnings that tourists pay, but that money don't come here. That money goes into the hotel's accounts abroad, and what is brought here is what is needed to pay people here or to buy things here. And that is relatively a small amount. So the retention of the tourism earnings that actually is flowing into our economy is not what it should be. And that's partly to do with the model. And so we need to really encourage, as a government, and adopt a policy that encourages other models. The rest of the Caribbean has done that more successfully than us. So we have beach access issues and so many things to talk about. But we want to make tourism have a greater impact and is more integrated. Agriculture is important because the rural economy is dependent on it. And the way in which agriculture is being done in Jamaica now, it's struggling. Farmers have a really hard time in this country. Farm roads are terrible. There's no storage facilities for them. There's no market support for them. The inputs are extremely expensive. And irrigation is only available in certain parts of the country and not others and what have you. So water, which is a critical ingredient, of course, input, I should say, is a problem. So we see agriculture as having potential to move significantly forward from where it is. After all, we have the products, the quality of the products that the world crave, whether it be coffee, ginger, Sea Island cotton, turmeric, cocoa, ganja, the whole range. We have that. So the potential is there, and we need to just focus on sorting out the agriculture industry and putting the necessary things in place so that the farmers can be productive. And we have a model which has worked quite well in the poultry industry. It's controversial because some people feel that the poultry industry shouldn't be protected by duties and so on.
Right.
But but you know, tens of thousands of Jamaicans make their living out of it. And you know, if we were to just expose it to the imports of subsidized chicken from abroad, it would destroy the industry. So we have to be careful how we manage that. But
one of the problem farmers are complaining about is that they don't have access to money. Will
Credit.
the PNP administration make access to money for farmers that they can get the money at a low interest rate and some kind of security? Because one of the problem, farmers don't have land, yet we have so many idle lands in Jamaica.
Absolutely. The PC banks, People's Cooperative Banks, is a construct that is out of our socialist past. The idea of funding financial resources for farmers through community-based banks. The problem, as I understand it, has been that the requirements that those banks are now imposing in order to access credit from them are onerous, too onerous for many farmers to meet, so that they're not able to borrow. We need to really revisit that and make sure that the flow of credit through those channels is sufficient and is on terms that the farmers can feel comfortable borrowing. You know, we have to provide the inputs to farmers. Listen, man, it's hard enough when we are faced weather issues and risks, plant diseases and pests. Pre-larceny. It's not an easy thing, you know. Rate every farmer, you know. Every farmer is a star because they have to go through to make it work.
I want to make this pitch though, opposition leader, that if we don't protect our farmers, if we don't ensure that we have food security in this country, trouble dead, you know.
Trouble dead, man.
Trouble dead.
And the pandemic kind of established it because...
And it don't look like we learn nothing from that.
Exactly.
Because we have not... Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying the global supply chain is vulnerable to all kind of things.
Big time.
You know, whether it be geopolitical war, you know, boycotts, weather issues, pandemic issues. So we have the capacity to be big players in agriculture through the products that we have that are in demand. And Jamaican yam and ackee, even those basic things that the world wants. So, I mean, right now, Jamaican yam has stepped up well, although the hurricane licked it hard still. But over the last period of time, you know, we've seen the potential for it. So what I'm really saying is that agriculture has to be, if you think of the economy as a stool, you know, with different legs, you know, agriculture has to be one of the legs because that will increase wealth in rural parts of Jamaica as well, which is very important.
Opposition leader, the research has shown that corruption costs this country over $120 billion yearly. What will your administration do about corruption?
Well, first of all, the institutions to fight corruption. I was in that same 4-year period, the Integrity Commission was my design, along with a technical team I put in place to do the research. So we saw that the anti-corruption framework of the country was not functioning. There were multiple agencies that couldn't talk to each other, couldn't share information, and they weren't having any impact. So we looked at around the world at different models, saw which ones were effective, and we kind of took those ideas, looked at our situation, modified them where they need to be modified, and we designed the Integrity Commission, developed the legislation, and I brought it to Parliament. We lost the election before it had passed because I put it in a joint select committee so it could be properly reviewed. That process was just about ending. The election came, we lost. This government made a few tweaks to it and they passed it into law in 2018. Now the Prime Minister is challenging it in court, saying it's unconstitutional, which is, how you can have the Prime Minister of a country challenging the anti-corruption framework, legislative framework of the country, because he himself has been investigated and found wanting. That alone should disqualify him from being the leader of the country. But that's a whole other controversy. So what you asked me a question about what we would do.
You're going to deal with the corruption, yeah.
First of all, we are going to empower the agency to do its work. We're not going to try and strip away its powers, interfere with it, harass it, intimidate it, like what has been happening with this government. We are going to allow it to do its work and let the chips fall where they may. Any issues that they identify, where there are weaknesses that need to be fixed, as long as what they're proposing is balanced and reasonable and not oppressive, we will endorse it. And you have to lead from the top. You can't mix up yourself in a nothing as the leader of the country and say you want to fight corruption. Because if the head of the stream is corrupt, or the head of the stream has a shadow over him or herself, then nobody else can take a talk from that person about corruption, because you're not in any position to tell anybody to do anything. So we have to, the leaders of the country must, by their words and their deeds, be above reproach. And then, with us, if there's any hanky-panky, there must be consequences. There must be accountability. And that is what I plan to do. And my team know that's how I check. That they know that is my position. That's why I'm glad that every single one of our shadow cabinet and parliamentarians have signed the Leadership Code of Conduct, not developed by me, developed by the Integrity Commission. The JLP hasn't signed it. None of them have signed it. Why? It embraces the 7 principles of good governance, which are international ethical principles, committing ourselves to that. Why they won't sign it?
But why the Jamaican people don't sound like them care about those things?
Because bread and butter issues, everybody look about them daily life and the struggles of their daily life. But they have to understand. They have to understand the connection. Us in the long term. Because when your road can't fix, and yet a man is ripping off billions off of a contract from public asset through siphoning off and subcontractors paying back money to them and all those things. That is why the resources aren't there to fix your road. That's why the hospitals don't have the necessary things that are needed to fix the elevator or the air conditioning unit so that surgery can go on. There's a direct connection between the quality of life of every person and the services they get from the state and the corruption of the country. So we have to make people understand that so they care. But recent polls show that corruption is now regarded as an important issue up there with the cost of living for the first time.
But if you look at the research opposition leader that says we are losing $120 billion to corruption annually, then that means this government gone over $1 trillion in corruption.
A lot of money has gone in corruption. And I have to take my hat off to the Auditor General for her fearless work in exposing what is going on without fear or favor. And she's not doing it for any political motive. Neither is the Integrity Commission, but the government, because they are the ones in power now and they are in a position to do the wrong things. And they're doing the wrong things, too many of them. Like to attack public officials who are doing the right thing and doing their duty and try to say that they're being political and so on. But nothing no go so.
But there are 2 members on your team that has been charged and found guilty by the Integrity Commission recently, and they have paid their fine. Why is it that the government don't want the thing to run its course?
Well, you see, there's a difference. There are procedural breaches, Colin, such as filing your return late or responding to a question outside the time frame that was given, for which there is a fine. That is not a corruption offense, right?
And that is not illicit enrichment.
No.
Right.
And then there are corruption offenses like bribery, illicit enrichment, having resources beyond your lawful income and not able to explain how. These are serious corruption offenses now. And the government don't want the Integrity Commission to be effective in dealing with that because too many of them mix up in things. That's how I see it. And because there's no other explanation for how they behave in Parliament in relation to the Integrity Commission and the law itself, which they passed, although they didn't develop.
You think this government is a corrupt government, opposition leader?
I do. I think this government has too much things go wrong in terms of nepotism, breaches of procurement rules, etc. I mean, if you look at the long, long list of scandals and then other things that have not even come into the public domain yet, but are under investigation, yes, I think they are tainted. I'm not saying each and every one of them is tainted. No.
Right.
I think that there have some people in there who are doing their work properly and are not mixed up in things. But unfortunately, they're associated with others who are.
Marissa Dalrymple was nominated on Wednesday after resigning. What are your views?
Well, what I don't like about that is that matter is still before the court. So the reason that she resigned was because of what the Integrity Commission had found in relation to her, as I understand it, having basically misused the motor vehicle concession that was available to her as a parliamentarian. And that matter is before the court. And instead of respecting the court process and allowing that to finish, and hopefully she's vindicated or not, who knows, but they have kind of ignored that, and as if it isn't important, and said, oh, well, it's politically expedient, because they were under pressure over this by-election thing because of the hypocrisy of what they were doing, where they didn't have a by-election for over a year in South Trelawney, but they had one in a couple of days, or announced it in a day for Northeast St. Anne. So that was, they were under pressure for that. So they decided to go ahead with the by-election. But because, she has served there many years and didn't have another candidate who they think could be competitive, they went and made that decision. So I think it's unfortunate. I wouldn't put it any higher than that. Mm-hmm.
The PNP not contesting the parliamentary election. You want to tell my viewers and listeners why?
We are in the 5th year of this government. It's an election year. The election that we are going to run and win is the general election. The people of Jamaica want to see a different approach. They want to see change. They want to see a government that's caring, a government that can be trusted, and a government with ideas to deal with the very real problems that we have. And that is what we are offering. I'm not going into by-elections, which are, and to my mind, are a waste of money at this time. Now, in the local government sphere,
right, I was going there. So continue.
Because we had local government elections in February. They are not due again for 4 more years. And if a councillor dies and there's no councillor in a division, we can't leave that unrepresented for 4 years.
Not at all.
So we will run in any local government election that is called at a time like this. And there are 2 that have been called, and we're going to be contesting those 2. But we're not getting involved in any by-elections at the constituency level in an election year.
What are your outlook on the 2 local government seats you're contesting?
We believe we will prevail. I was in one yesterday. I'm going to be in one today again, and I'm going to be on the ground. And the reception has been very good. And I believe the people want to see the People's National Party back in power, and they realize that this is an opportunity to express that. So I am optimistic.
You're coming to Port Antonio tomorrow. Tell the people of Portland about that.
Yes, man. We have a candidate in East Portland who is going to be launched tomorrow. His candidacy is going to be formally launched tomorrow, and I'm going there to support that. Isaac Buchanan, he's a warrior for the people's rights. He has stood up for worthy causes that others were either afraid or unwilling to talk about or to take up in the interests of people who need representation and so on. So he's a champion youth, and I'm here to support him. I respect the work he has done. I also think, that he's a youth who has shown the power of redemption in his own life. And I believe in that too. So I am supporting him, and I'm going to be there. I'm going to have a motorcade, I believe, before. So the thing will go turn up in Portland tomorrow.
You're coming down from Hector's River into Port Antonio.
I'll take it. I will take it from you. I don't know the route yet, but I'll be there. Mm-hmm.
Opposition leader, the election is due by September of next year. Mm-hmm. Is the People's National Party ready for that general election that you spoke about?
Yes, we are.
All candidates in place.
We have all candidates in place. There's 1 or 2 where we may make a change, possibly, but they're all 63 are in place, and they are, we're doing the work organizationally that needs to be done, and we are ready. So I want him to call it now. As far as I'm concerned, we should be called now.
You are in the lead. The PNP's in the lead. Are you comfortable?
No, can't be comfortable till you win. You know, I'm optimistic. I feel good that we are in a good place from which to launch a victorious campaign. But the work has to be done, and there's no room for complacency. Any candidate who feel him done win already, that they need to change that mindset immediately and do the work that has been set for them by the structures of the party, because it's work that is going to deliver the victory.
One of the complaints.
Others will try all kind of tactics, you know. Others will try all kind of things using money and other things, you know. But we rely on work and a message that people can embrace, and the work on the ground to show respect to the people on the ground, that they were there for them and want to serve them well. And I believe Jamaican people will bless us if we do that.
No, one of the complaints Jamaicans have had over the years, and I have had, is that we don't see a manifesto until maybe 2 weeks before election. Is the PNP getting a manifesto ready for the people of Jamaica?
Yeah, we're working on our manifesto. Part of the thing about that is because we don't know when an election is called, and some of these things have, you know, political impact. You don't want to, you know, reveal everything too early and the next, you know, there's a time and place for things. But we're working on our manifesto, and we want it to be relevant and attractive. So yes, we are working on that, Colin.
If an election is called, Comrade Leader, before the issue with the Prime Minister resolves, as it relates to his statutory filing, do you think that such a person should contest an election with statutory filing for so many years not been certified?
My view on that is no. I don't think that person should be leading a party, a political party, into an election trying to be prime minister again. I think that that is something which is untenable, both locally and internationally. And that, in fact, I think he should have resigned already over it. That's my personal view. But the law doesn't preclude it from happening. Right. So if the JLP decide that they want to keep their leader in place, even though this is the situation he finds himself in, that's a decision which they can make. But I think it's a wrong decision.
You're looking forward to debating him?
Absolutely.
We're talking to the opposition leader of Jamaica and the president of the People's National Party, Mark Jefferson Golden. Party leader, we don't have
much time. Do I have some things after? Yeah,
we're wrapping up right now. We're wrapping up right now. We have had you on for more than an hour plus. I mean, I want to thank you, but I want to give you an opportunity to talk to the people of Jamaica, talk to the people in the diaspora as we do the closing.
People, first of all, Jamaica is a great country, and Jamaicans at home and abroad proud of what we have achieved as a nation, you know, through the struggles and blood, sweat, and tears of our ancestors right through to today. But we can do so much more, and we have so many deep problems we have to solve. And it requires all hands on deck. It requires a national approach. It requires a willingness to work with others who don't agree with us in the best interest of the country. And it requires honesty in what we do and building of trust among the leaders from the people and vice versa. And that is why I'm trying to, that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I intend to do if I'm given that opportunity. And, you know, I'm coming at this thing just because I feel I have been blessed, I've been fortunate, and I have certain skills and experience that I'd like to make available to help solve some of these problems and move the country to a higher level. So, you know, enough love, enough respect. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Colin, for having me. It has been a wonderful experience. Bless up.
Bless up and see you tomorrow.
All right, my brother.
One
tomorrow.
love, my leader.
One love, one love.
Yeah, man. Mark Jefferson Golden. See that boy there when he Everton. Where you doing around here? Where you for? Eh? Oh, you get paid. You get paid for troll my channel. Brother, you are a bossy slave. You are selling out the future. You have and Everton, you're not a labourite, you know. You're an Andrew Holnessites. Because I tell people that this country is not been run by a GLP administration. This country is run by a corrupt band Yeah, not a GLP administration. So I don't know where you are defend and I disrespect people. Brother, hear me now, man. Jeffrey.
Yeah, my friend. Morning, how you doing?
My day, I know my brother, Wagwan.
Boy, I must commend you on your great interview with opposition leader Mark Golden.
Oh, thank you, my friend.
I was hoping that Mr. Golden would address the situation in which when he entered Jamaica House, he should order forensic audit into every single government entity in this country.
Oh,
before
yes.
he appoint any body to go into the ministries. Audit the government ministries in this country. Because we need to know where all these money disappear to. $1 trillion is unaccountable for.
Jeffrey, you'd have heard me call all the time that Jamaica needs a forensic audit. And for a forensic audit to take place, we need to ship out these band of bandits and audit this country. Yes, man, it need to happen.
Indeed. It cannot be business as usual, you know.
Absolutely not.
It cannot be business as usual in this country. Where all of us just sit down and accept what is going on. We must not be loyal to a political party. We must not be loyal to a prime minister or wanna-be dictator. We must be loyal to the constitution of this country.
And the people of the
rule
country.
Of law.
And the people of the country.
And the people of the country. And I believe that the leader of the opposition, if and when the man put on in Clarks and call the election, and the PNP should enter Jamaica House, they should order a forensic audit into every government business in this country.
It must. And you would have heard him bigging up the Auditor General for doing a tremendous job, a fearless job, and the members of the Integrity Commission.
Indeed.
Because
and Colin, I must say to you, Colin, that you're the man who can turn things around in the sense of getting the opposition leader on. I've been trying my endeavor best to get him on, but I know he's a very busy person.
Very busy.
So it's good when you can get it on for all of us to come on your platform and listen to what he's saying.
Yes.
And I'm going to encourage 866 devices on this platform now. Like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe to this channel.
Please and
because
thank you,
what
Jeffrey.
Colin Bell is doing, he's doing a marvelous job, a tremendous job in educating the people of Jamaica, the people of Portland, and by extension, the people of Jamaica.
Thank you,
Colin,
Jeffrey. Bless up.
Thank you for having me on, man. Cool.
Morning. Welcome to Portland Spice TV.
Morning, Colin.
Talk to me.
Great interview. And your interview, one of the most respectable and educated politicians. And the interview was great. And now you see the Mark Golden that we are talking about. I must confess, I told Mark Golden on a program, when they were contesting for the leadership of the PNP, I wasn't in his corner.
Mm-hmm.
But the man grow leaves and bones, and the man is ready for the job.
The man has grown.
Yes.
As you rightfully said, leaps and bones. He's now showing prime ministerial material.
Yes. And the man is ready for the job.
Yes,
one mistake you make, though. One mistake, because I know you must go and get other caller. You're going to see me tomorrow. I make sure you see me face tomorrow.
Yeah.
I will be there. I live all the way in Spanish Town.
But you're forward.
I'm going to be. Yes, man, I will be there. But you make one mistake a while ago.
What was that?
You should not respond to Everton.
True, man. True.
I know all the while. I know.
True.
Sometimes
you never call. Some people name not forget no call. Some people name not forget. Some people.
When you see some garbage, just sweet.
Me agree with you. Some people name not forget no call.
You just not forget them, not forget not to answer them, not respond to them.
Yes, man.
Not respond to them.
Yeah, man.
Not mix up garbage. Not mix up garbage in a decent thing.
No, but you know, I don't know if you realize what happened, Marsh. Him keep sending his message, and my finger slip. I was going to a text, and my finger slip and bring on the message on the screen, man. So that was what upset
I follow the program. I follow the program, and me watch him come down the line all the way.
All right,
and me not respond to him, me ignore him, and everything you answer.
True, man. You write like book.
Yeah,
All
man.
right,
Tomorrow,
my
I make sure I present myself to you, make you see my face.
Yes, sir. Please do.
All right. Bless up yourself, Khalid.
One
Good,
love.
good.
Yeah, man. 804-7072. That are the number where we are used. It was a wonderful experience. And I tell you, listeners and viewers, that's not my first time interviewing the opposition leader. No, not. I interviewed him before when I was on Styles FM. So, not my first time. But it was really wonderful having him on. You know? Yeah, man. Hold on for me, caller. Hold on for me. Hold on. I think I missed up that. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, pleasant rising sun to you and all the Jamaican people.
Yeah, man. Talk up in the phone.
To all the comrades.
Talk up in the phone.
Talk up, you know, hear me good?
Yeah.
You know, hear me good?
Yeah, man. Talk now.
Yeah, man. Blessed rising to my Jamaican people and all the comrades on the island, calling from Albany, New York.
Mm-hmm.
I just came run. I like Marky G. Marky G, I talk up to the thing then.
I'm on a general.
And what we need is a government who is accountable to the people, a government that stands for the people, a government that loves the people.
Yes.
Not a government like the old administration who is plundering Jamaica like a pirate.
You understand?
They are pirates and they must be held accountable.
Yes.
Accountable. I came down last week. I just running for 4 days. I missed my yard and I said, I run down this down a southeast for 4 days. I'm coming back for the holidays.
Yeah.
And you say I have to be picking places to drive.
The road them terrible. Terrible.
No
roads are terrible.
Charles Jr. now doing nothing for the constituency. No, my Jamaican people hearing my voice and this brother voice, we're talking for you, the people.
Yes.
Do not take a $5,000 vote out your interest.
Yeah.
Don't do it. You take a belly food today and you're hungry for the next 5 years. We must educate ourselves and place our vote to the persons that have our interest. You give people run the election day and then what they do for 5 years. I love the way the Jamaican people and I love Damian Crawford and Dayton Campbell.
All right.
Them brother, they have beat them, man. Them have beat them. So I'm passionate about my party.
Yes.
The other day I saw something about some people down southeast that are still living in shelter. When you hear say Charles Jr. asking them to come out, and I don't know where they're gonna go because they have nowhere to go since they're still in the shelter. I've collected up some funds, and my sister's gonna do care packages, and we're going to carry it down there and deliver. My sister will do it for me.
Beautiful.
We just are doing I'm just doing it from the depths of my heart. You know what? No. I will not see colors and rabbits. We just help with brothers and sisters.
Thank you very much on their behalf.
So much needs in the island. And you see me, I am a manlyite. I went to Otabati.
Yeah?
For the first a student.
Yes.
And because of Michael Manley, I was able to be exposed to boarding institution. And most of my friends are from Otabati. And I tell you, the work study program, I am who I am today, a registered nurse, independent woman, all because of Joshua Michael Manley. And if we are stick to his agenda, teach where we go, grow where we eat, Jamaica would be sitting in a better place. Education for the youth then, for self-upliftment, people the PNP party, look at hear my voice, PNP is the way to go because PNP has the heart of the people.
All right, thank you very much.
Blessed love, brother, and keep soldiering on.
One love, New York, New York. One love. Yeah, man. We're talking to anybody who want to talk to it till the close of the show. 804-7072. That's the number to call if you want to give us a talk. Yes, my brother. Welcome. Obi. Hello? Obi. Should I have Obi on the line? Don't know what's happening. Obi?
Obi?
Not hearing Obi at all.
Colin?
Yes, man.
Yes, man. I'm hearing you well. How are you doing?
Me good in a wagwan.
Well, I'm fine, thanks. I'm fine, thanks. First of all, my brother and friend, let me congratulate you on a brilliant interview
Thank you
did with opposition leader and PNP President Mark Jefferson Golden. You know, and I was quite heartened when I heard him double down on something that he said in my program about 6 weeks ago, when he mentioned that based on the situation with Prime Minister Holness, if it was not cleared up, then certainly he continued as leader of the JLP and to run for Prime Minister is untenable. And it was quite instructive that he went in, and I really like what he did, because he stated that in terms of the laws, you know, they can make him run.
Yes.
But certainly from a principal position where he stands, you know, then he should not run. And I want to commend Mark Golden on that. In addition to that, Colin, I also want to join with yourself and Jeffrey, another friend, who, you know, actually reiterate the position that so many of us Jamaicans, whether you are in media, you are there as a, you know, regular person out there. And so if you wish to speak the truth, Mark Golden has really gone around the bend like a mighty 200-meter runner.
Yes,
you know,
man.
that bend is sweet when you see a 200-meter runner taking that bend, you know, heading into the back stretch.
Hold on the camera. Don't move. Hold on for me. 804-7072. Morning.
Hello, morning.
Talk to me.
Mr. Bell.
Yes.
What I want to say to you is that for people like in my area where I live in Hanover, Orange Bay, Orange Bay sector, right? I saw quite a few young people at times. And, you know, the thing is that people don't know what Labour did in the 80s. So, you know, Mark Golden, they need to come and make young people know that too, because the people were born in the 90s and early 2000s, they have no idea.
And that's why we are on this program. We are going to be bringing on more people that were integrally involved in some of the things to tell you about what happened, because we realize a narrative being spun by some other people putting...
Right, because sometimes I listen to Andrew Wallace talking, you know, and I'm going to tell you the truth. I wonder if Jamaica never existed in the 80s. Because he never speak of the 80s. This man never talk about the 80s.
Well, he might talk about where suit him, you know.
You understand what I'm saying? And sometimes I feel so bad. Like, why, you know, Jamaican people, they're so dumb. They don't, you understand? They don't ask this man. So, you know, government, why you don't talk about the 80s? So you jump on the stage.
All right. Remember I had a caller on before you. Hold on.
You don't talk about the 80s. So you jump on the stage.
Go ahead, Obi.
Yeah, man. All right. So Colin, yeah, I was just saying, you know, that it's really impressive, the growth of Mark Golden, and certainly we saw that in the last few polls. You know, he also mentioned something that was very, very instructive in my view, Colin, where for the first time we have seen where corruption continues to show up on the poll in a big way, ranking their second, you know, and that means something.
When you look at the whole thing, you know, and the research which says that we're losing $120 billion a year to corruption, and you are saying that this government has been in power for 8 years, and you really look upon it, you know, brother, it's over $1 trillion we're gone.
Absolutely, Colin. Massive. And I know you have some calls coming in, Colin. So I don't want to type the line, but I must say this. There's a lady who was quite who was well known to me. She called me a few days ago in tears. Her husband got a minor stroke. He went to Maypen Regional Hospital, and it took him about 48 to 72 hours to get a bed there, I think.
Yeah.
And, you know, I tried to make some intervention for her and so on. However, she called me back one morning and she said he finally got a bed. He was there crying and saying, boy, if he could even get a piece of cardboard to lie on. You know? And yes, and what happened, she called me and she said to me that, boy, when she hear of the by-election that will be held, and those 3 by-elections, central government by-election, will be costing about $120 million, because they were costing about 90 million.
Right, for the three parliamentary by-election, it's 90 million. Right.
About 90 million. And she said she raised something, and I want to put it here because it is something that I think that Mark Golding and Dr. Dawes et al. Probably need to look at. She said something, and Colin, sometimes these ideas come from the most the person who are deemed to be, you know, just the average person. She said to me that even a few cuts that they could buy and lay along certain areas in the hospital, even if they don't have the room. So because when she saw her husband there crying and said, boy, if he's a piece of cardboard for him to stretch out on. You know what happened the following day, Colin? She called me in more tears. Her husband died. And while I'm not saying it's because he didn't get the bed, but certainly, Colin, the fact that he was asked to sit up in a wheelchair in a chair for so long, that basically worsened the situation, and the lady lost her husband.
Obi, we're in a sad situation. Very, very sad situation, my brother. Thank you.
It is. Before 1 second, Colin, 30 seconds more.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, I want to again go on record to commend Mark Golding and the PNP for the stand that they took in not contesting those 3 by-election in an election here, an election that is just around the corner. Again, Colin, congratulations on your interview, sir.
Thank you, my brother. One love.
Blessings.
One love. 8047072. You're watching Portland Spice TV on YouTube. We are also on a Tuesday night from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Styles FM 96.1, 96.5, 96.7. We are also on Caribbean Radio HD. Yes, caller, go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Bell.
Welcome.
A great interview.
Thank you,
when O'Brien came on, I was gonna chide him, you know, because he was one of those, and he got, but I won't.
He was one of those. He get it from you.
Yeah, because he was one of those who was actually articulating that the PMP should run in Trelawny because Patmore have a good chance. But to me, if you're dealing with a principle,
yeah, man,
you can't veer. And, you know, I was very disappointed in him. But now it came full circle.
And come to him realization.
Yeah, because I know you heard it, you know, when he told you that that Patmore should run in Trelawny because PNP had a good chance.
Mm-hmm.
But no, if you're dealing with a principle, Colin, regardless of what the advantage might be, it can't override your principle.
Listen, it's a waste. It's a waste of money.
Yes, sir. And I have a criticism about
Go right ahead.
And yeah. And it is not even you per se, but given the situation, you know, it's really heartrending when the opposition leader came out and said what he said about bringing down the debt, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you had a lot of jail people running with it, as if to say, you know, dear government,
mm-hmm.
and Mark Golding don't saying it. But the fact that you have to say, you have to commend him to be honest, it is a serious thing how the country going, you know, because he's expected to be honest. You shouldn't be commending him to be honest, you know.
No,
if you understand what I'm saying.
Hold on, but with what is happening on the other side, and
that is the problem.
A man come out and stand up and say, listen, the debt is coming down, the fiscal discipline is okay. The other side would have never do that. Look what Dr. Peter Phillips and Portia did. Hold the line for me. Hold on. Hello, good morning.
Morning, Sir Bill.
Hold the line for me. Oh, no. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I must big up Mr. O'Brien, one of the premier political analysts in the country at this time.
All right. Yes.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Sorry about that. So when I say,
yeah, man.
When a Mark Golding come out and stand up like that, you have to show people that this is what we're talking about when we're talking about integrity, honesty, and decency. Here is an example of a man with integrity, honesty, and decency.
Yeah, because it kind of look away. It come like a person find $1 million for argument's sake. And the honest thing to do is to return it.
Yes.
And because they return it, it's a big thing, and it should just be it should be really calling a matter of course.
Yes, but look here, my brother.
Money don't belong to you, and you return it.
But when you're living in a world that it is not a matter of course, you have to put the good things. You have to put the good things on a pedestal, because when you're living in a world that wrong seems right and right seems wrong, we have to be careful.
Yeah, but me know you understand what I say.
Me know, man. Me know. And that's why I made it my...
That's why I say it's not necessarily a criticism of you per se, but it's a kind of perception with the culture
of the society
Jamaica.
We're not criticize the society.
Yes.
All right, my brother.
So, all right, sir. Great interview, man. Thank
you. Yeah, man. Hello. Good morning. Hold on, I missed that call. No, you're not on the air now. You have to hold on. You're not on the air. So hold a sec for me. We 8 minutes after 11 o'clock. We're actually wrapping up. We want to say thanks to the president of the People's National Party and the opposition leader, Mark Golding, for gracing us with his presence this morning. Thanks to all the people for listening. On the YouTube platform, we had close to 900 people at one time. Not sure what is going on the other platforms, but it was a good morning. Obi.
Hi, Colin. Sorry to call you back, but I have to put things in perspective. I heard the caller there. And I must say that my discussion, and I have the tape for it, I stand wedded to what I said. I said that I believe that the Patmore has an excellent chance in winning the seat in South Trelawney. However, I understand the principled position that the PNP take, and the reason why I basically big up Mark Golding and the PNP at this time is for the stand that had nothing at all to do with me saying that, listen, I believe that Patmore would win the seat. And I still have that belief. And for expediency, the PNP should contest. So I'm commending them for basically taking that principled position. And one must also understand that when you're communicating in a group setting,
it's different.
It's different from
it's totally different, because sometimes
totally different thing. So I don't want this brethren to come mix me up.
All right, and let me just tell people in some of those groups. Sometimes that those of us who are on social media and mainstream media, when we come in at the group and discuss something, it's ideas we want to hear what you think, and so as to form an idea, because we are not the wealth of all information, and we learn from you guys, because in some of those groups we have some people who have some knowledge there out of this world, you know. When you're in those kind of groups, hold on. When you're in those kind of groups with people like noted attorney, King's Counsel, KD Knight, you're talking about Albert, what's Albert name again?
Albert Gray.
Albert Gray. Some of them man, the knowledge gone far. So sometimes, guys, we are picking the brain because we want to hear what we want to think.
Indeed. And in addition to that, Colin, I'll just urge the gentleman a while, just at the start, you can go to the Conrad O'Brien Facebook page. My program for Tuesday, Monday is up, and he will hear my public discourse, the public stand that I took, and I'm consistent. The PNP had a glorious chance, had a glorious chance had they contested the South Trelawney by-election. But certainly I can understand the principal position. God bless you.
All right, my brother. Once again, thanks to all my listeners and viewers. Please share and subscribe to the channel. We crave your indulgence. We're heading up to 3,000 subscribers, so we're asking you to subscribe to the channel, share and like up the video. Once again, thanks for making it Portland Spice TV. Thanks to the leader of opposition and president of the People's National Party. Thanks to the callers. Yes, man. One love, blessings. May the good Lord continue to bless and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his light and give you his peace. Until we meet again Tuesday evening. Colin Bell, SHACKA FM saying, bless up. Blessings.